Join us, the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast, on a journey where we delve into the heart of the matters that truly make a difference. Our mission is to create a platform where we can openly discuss topics that often go unnoticed or unexplored. We aim to shed light on these crucial issues and have meaningful conversations. We invite you to tune into our podcast, where we will explore the depths of these subjects and let our hearts guide the conversation. Together, we can create a space where everyone's voice is heard and where we can collectively work towards a better future. Welcome, everyone, to the Humanitarian Heartbeat Podcast. I am your host, Nia Imani, and I have the pleasure of interviewing my brother, Earnest Key. Hey, brother.
Hey sister, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
You guys, I'm laughing because it's hilarious to see my brother in this professional role. I mean, he is professional. He's great. What is it?
I was going to say, what are you trying to say? I'm not professional.
No, you are, but you're my brother, so I don't really see you in that light. But everybody loves you, especially all your clients and whatever. But anyway,
Well, thank you for that.
of course, you guys, you're going to understand why he is so amazing. I'm going to read his bio and get into the questions because although he looks like he's 12, he's not. And he's been in this business a long time. He knows what he's doing. Listen, y'all, Earnest Key is a seasoned, y'all heard me, real estate professional with over 15 years of experience in the industry. Wow. He began his journey as a real estate investor, developing a key eye for profitable opportunities and marketing trends. His passion for real estate and commitment to excellence led him to establish his own brokerage where he specializes in property management, leasing, listings, and assisting home buyers. My brother is a passionate person, and he's passionate about ensuring that his community and clients are educated about real estate. Pretty good bio, brother.
Sounds about right.
But the first question is, what made you get into real estate? How'd you land here?
Well, without boring your audience, long story short, I was in college many moons ago, even though I'm only 12. Um, one of my mentors, he gave me an idea. It was a few of us. It was myself and like two or three other of my friends. He came up to us and he was like, "Hey guys, what are you doing for your stay at college? Are you getting in a dorm? Are you going to rent an off-market apartment?" And we were like, "I don't know. I guess we want to stay in a dorm." So he was like, "How about you guys collectively buy a home together, stay in there for 4 years, and then upon graduation, you lease it out to students?" And I was like, "Wow, that's a great idea." And you know me, sis, I'm an entrepreneur at heart. And I've been that way my whole life. So when I heard the idea, I was like, "Man, let's do it." Of course, being a broke 18-year-old kid, that idea didn't come to fruition, but the seed was planted. So fast forward, I graduate, I get my gig, and then I said, "You know what? Now that I have credit and income, I'm gonna do that plan." So that's the very short, brief origination story.
Wow. Wow. That's so amazing because before that, did anybody else tell you about real estate or give you such an idea before that seed was planted?
No, before that, nope.
Wow.
Yes, yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
And it was a really quick conversation too. It wasn't like a lecture or anything like that. We were just powwowing, my friends and myself. And then my mentor comes up and he's like, "Hey guys, you should do this and that." 10, 15 minutes, and then he pieced out. But like I said, the idea stuck with me all those years.
Wow.
So it was around I was 18 when that conversation happened. I think I got my first house when I was like 24 years old. So yeah.
Your first house at 24 years old?
Yeah, it was around 24 years old. Yep.
You say it like so laissez-faire, like, oh, I got my first house at 24. Do you know how big that is?
At the time, I didn't feel that way. And real
No.
estate was a lot cheaper 20 something years ago, 20 years ago. Yeah.
That's
Even though I'm 12. Yeah, I was negative. I was negative something. I was negative 12. But yeah.
How was that process getting your first house at that age? I mean, you're a young Black man purchasing a home at 24 years old. How was that process? Was it easy? Was it hard? Talk to us about that.
So was it hard? It was easy in the sense that I was able to have the conversation with the seller. And, I'm blessed being a really, really good listener. So I was talking to someone one day, and this is the seller, and she told me she had this property and she didn't know what to do with it. It was very distressed, needed a lot of repair. She didn't have the money. So I was able to work something out with her, and use my negotiation skills.
That
So
how, where did you learn to negotiate at 24 years old? I'm confused.
one of well, when you grow up and not, when you grow up and you don't have much and you're not the best student,
Yeah.
so yeah, I used to get my homework for free, and that's for another podcast. Yeah, I got some stories about your brother and our homework. But anyway, yeah, just growing up without means,
Yeah.
um, I consider myself a survivor, so
Yeah.
I know how to use my words and get what I need.
I can dig that. But you know what? That is very resourceful of you because you hit on something. You survived your environment, right? Did you ever tell anybody that at 24 years old you're going to purchase a home or you just did it?
No, I just did it. I'm not really that type of person. I don't go around professing what I'm going to do in life. If I have an idea, I try to execute. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah, you should mentor yourself.
should I? Yeah, I mean, I do in a way. As you know, I run a brokerage, so most of my agents are new and inexperienced. So that's my opportunity to mentor,
That is
and I like
awesome.
it.
That, that
And
is
I
awesome.
have children too, so that right there is a lot of mentorship.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So you purchased your first home at 24 years old. How did you make that leap from to real estate when you wanted to be an agent? Like, how did you make that leap?
That's a great question. I got to give you credit, sis. You're a heck of an interviewer. Oh my goodness. I'm
That's
really impressed.
because I'm nosy. That's why.
See, I'm gonna take it easy on you because I'm on your platform, but um so once again, I'm gonna be as brief as possible. When I got into real estate, I never thought I was gonna do this. I call it the retail side of real estate, helping buyers and sellers outside of my own investment stuff. I just got my license to get real estate at a discount and sell it at a discount. Once people realized that I was in the business and licensed, then they were like, "Can you help me do what you're doing?" And then next thing you know, I fell in love more with that than helping myself. Because you know me, since I love to help people, so that felt better. Yeah, of course, I love to get money from my family, but it also feels good when I'm helping other people and I see them winning and getting their home. So I just got addicted to that, and then eventually my wife and I, Jacqui, we started a team. Yeah, Jack,
Hmm.
and we both come from that. We like to give first type of mentality. So we started the team, and we started to help agents get into the business and sell homes and lease properties and things of that nature. So anyway, we just got addicted to that part of the real estate world.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Where do you get that from? The need to help people.
Well, but the audience doesn't. My grandma, yeah, who passed away in 2022. Yeah, she was, everyone says that about their parents, but she was an angel.
Yeah.
She literally gave clothes off her back. She would stand at the bus stops and pray with people, like on her way to work, coming from work. I'm like, Grandma, where were you at? Oh, I was at the bus stop praying for. I'm like, I'm hungry, Grandma. I got school tomorrow. So anyway, my grandma
Yeah.
is mostly her for sure.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So in a way, she is why you established your business.
Yeah, I would say so. Her and Jackie.
Yeah.
My wife is a big part of that too. She helped me change a lot. Like she said, she keeps me humble.
Thank the Lord. That's why I love my sister.
Won't you start? Yeah, between you and her and Mercedes, who the audience doesn't know yet, I don't think. Yeah,
Yeah.
you three keep me humble, which is good because
Yeah.
you know your brother and I, we need it.
That's another topic for another day.
That's a whole nother podcast. That's another segment.
Take up so much time. But for those who may not know, what is the difference between real estate and a realtor and brokerage? What's that?
Oh wow. Look at you. So basically a broker, which that's my title at this point, um, we are responsible for all of the transactions, to put it plainly.
Mhm.
And a real estate agent or a realtor, they work underneath the supervision of a broker. So that's the hierarchy, if you will. So nothing happens without a broker of record being responsible, which, gives me some sleepless nights, but that's just the way it goes. But that's a great question because a lot of real estate agents, they operate like a brokerage or a broker, and they're not. So every realtor or real estate agent that you come across, please know that there is a broker of record above them responsible for every single transaction. So that's the brief synopsis of the difference, if you will.
Wow. So that's the benefit of people coming to you.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the danger in, is there a danger in just dealing with a realtor who has no connection to a broker?
Well, technically, every realtor should have connection to a broker. If you're
Correct.
asking if they're not communicating with their broker, yeah, that's very dangerous because we as brokers, we are tasked with staying on top of the laws and ordinances and all of the rule changes that happen within the industry.
Mhm.
So if you're a real estate agent or aka realtor, just running around doing your thing, helping buyers and sellers and renters and things of that nature, but you're not staying up on the things that can keep you compliant, that can be a big issue.
Mhm.
um I'll give you an example. Our contracts, they change frequently,
Mhm.
so I have to stay up on that. And if you're a realtor running around doing your thing, you're busy, you're opening doors, you may not get a chance to see the new change.
Right.
So if you're not connected to your broker, obviously you're exposed, um, with that lack of knowledge.
Wow. That's good. That's good. Do your contracts change based upon the trends of the market?
Uh, do they change with the trends of the market? I guess you can say that. That's one way to say it. Sometimes it's political things that happen. Sometimes, like our last big change, which happened last in August sometime
Mhm.
of last year, obviously. It was a lawsuit that was the catalyst for that
Sure.
things changing in the contract.
Sure. Sure. That makes sense. How do trends impact your job? So, they say the bubble and the job market, the housing market, and all that. How does that impact what you do?
You're supposed to be taking it easy on me, sis. No, I'm joking. Um, it impacts our profession tremendously. So to your point, if the job economy is down, for instance, then obviously people can't buy, lease, or do anything.
Mhm.
Um, Clients can't even sell, well, they wouldn't be clients because they didn't sign a contract, but um, prospects, if you will, they can't even sell because, if the job market is down, you sell your house, you have to buy another one normally, or at least rent. So, uh, yeah, the market impacts our profession tremendously. If interest rates go up like they're kind of high now,
Mhm.
that's tough on buyers. Inventory is also kind of low. Um, that impacts buyers.
Yeah.
So yeah, all these things really, really, truly impact our industry.
Right. Right. So you help buyers too. When is there a good time, if there's ever a good time, for someone to purchase a home?
When is a good time for anyone to purchase a home? And I'm not talking as a realtor here.
Yeah.
I'm talking as a human being.
Mhm.
I think if you can afford to buy a home, you should buy a home
Okay.
as quickly as possible because over time you're getting equity because of appreciation, and homes almost always, according to history, appreciate.
Okay.
Um, and then when you have that appreciation, you have that equity. You can use that equity to pay for kids' colleges, travel the world, pay off debt. So the quicker you can buy, I recommend that. Because as a renter, and I don't have anything against renters
Mhm.
or renting in general, but that's money that you'll never see again.
Mhm.
So even if you're paying $1,000 a month, that's 12,000 a year.
Mhm.
In 10 years, that's 122,000 that you'll never see again.
Mhm.
And in the inverse, if you were buying, that's in theory 122,000 equity,
Mhm.
not including their appreciation. So and then you also get tax benefits too. Being a homeowner, you can write off interest. I'm not a tax accountant, but in my experience, that can
Mhm.
happen. So,
That's great advice. Now, anybody that's listening, say, Earn, listen, I was once 24 years old, or I am 24 years old, I'm 19 years old. I hear everything that you're saying, but I can't afford that. What do you say to those listeners?
well, I would ask that listener, how do you know you can't afford it?
Mhm.
So if you've never been through the process, you don't know what you don't know. So let's have a conversation because maybe I can unearth the fact that you can afford it.
Wow.
It could be a down payment issue that you think you have, but there are grants for down payment assistance.
Wow.
You may think it's income, but maybe I can give you the idea of partnering with your sister to buy. And now your debt to income ratio is low. So it's different. I call myself a puzzle solver. I solve puzzles. So we talk,
Yeah.
I'll see the puzzle, and then maybe we can solve that puzzle. And then sometimes people aren't ready.
Mhm.
But then what we do with the individuals that aren't ready, we put them on a track to get ready.
You do.
So you could be on, a 6 month track. You could be on a year track. I had clients that it's taking them 2 years, and but with the knowledge, you can get closer to that goal.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that does make sense. So, regardless, you can help people wherever they are.
I would say 9 times out of 10,
Yeah, better.
even if it's just to get yourself better prepared to buy,
Mhm.
and you never buy. If you're budgeting, right? If your credit improved,
Yeah.
but you're still a renter, your life is still better, right? Because now you have 20,000 saved, your credit score jumped 100 points.
Right.
Even though you never bought, your situation is still better.
Right.
So I would, yeah, and to that point, maybe I'll say 10 out of 10, I'm helping.
That makes sense. That
Can I
makes
pat myself on the back?
Go
No,
ahead. Go ahead.
no, you're supposed to be keeping my ego in
Oh,
check, sis.
sorry. That's why I said go ahead, but roll my eyes at the same time. Y'all understand having a sibling. Y'all would do the same thing. And I'm just, the more that you're talking, and your head is probably going to get big, so I don't even want to say it, but it's wild to me that you came out of, where did you grow up?
I grew up in North Philadelphia.
Okay. So
Yeah, low income environment.
you came from North Philadelphia. And for those around the world, because we have listeners all over the world, how can you describe North Philadelphia for those who don't know what North Philadelphia looks like or is or was?
Ooh, so I have to be careful. I'm
Yeah,
going to talk about North Philadelphia when I was there.
sure.
When I was, I'm 12 now, but I was like negative 12 then. Um, no, in all seriousness, when I was there, North Philly, like I said, was a low income environment. It wasn't a lot of resources in that area. Um, and there wasn't a lot of, I didn't have a lot of conversation about real estate, credit, entrepreneurship, things of that nature.
Mhm.
My community was great. Don't get me wrong. I made a lot of great connections. It was my neighbors were awesome. I'm not trying to sit up here and say like I was a gang banger and it wasn't that, drastic. But as far as what I'm doing now, that environment did not prepare me for this.
Great answer. And I asked this because, and I wanted you to preface this because some people may say, well, okay, thank you for painting that picture for me. So to come from that environment and to be where you are today, are you surprised where you are today? Are you proud of yourself? That doesn't happen.
Listen, humbly speaking, right? Because this is when I am humble. It does surprise me a lot. Like some days I'm, doing something, I'm at the settlement table or, whatever, depositing a check, and I don't know, it's like an out of body experience. I'm up high looking at down at myself like, what, like, how are you even here? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
It's just, how are you a broker and an owner of a brokerage and married and, raising children, and like it is surreal
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. How? I just, for those listening, like, how did you do it? How do you come from that environment? And you don't have to be a product of your environment, but to graduate college and to learn the things that you had no backing. Nobody told you, hey, this is what you need to do. Like, you learned everything and excelled and exceeded. How?
So, I mean, obviously um, this journey I've taken over the last, how old am I now? Whatever, that's irrelevant. 43. These 43 years, I haven't been traveling this journey alone. I had mentors, just to recap, my grandma, for sure, big part of my life and my development. Your brother, um, even you in a lot of ways, even though you're my baby sister. I learn from everybody, especially people that have good heads on their shoulders, and that are willing to give me free advice.
Yeah.
I don't think I know everything. I'm super curious, and I'm very grateful when people are giving me information for free too, because I'm cheap. So if you want to give me good information, I'm going to be grateful because people don't have to give me that information. So anyway, because of that, that kind of propelled my development.
Mhm. You're good. You should write a book. Mm.
Well, believe it or not, I am writing a book. I'm not going to plug it. Um, it's just to help agents and even people in the sales industry become better salesmen and women. I'm working on it. It's taking me longer than I thought. But yeah, I am working on something.
Do you
I'll
think it's
talk to you more about it after
okay?
this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm speechless. That is amazing. Okay. Can you talk to us about, you said you work with my sister, your beautiful wife, Jacqui. Talk to us about that. What is the importance of working with your spouse and how does that make you more successful?
One, it keeps me humble,
Yeah.
which I think is important for me in particular. Two, um, my eyes is always on the prize. She's a constant reminder of why I'm doing this. I'm not doing it for wealth. I'm not doing it to be, to get a pat on the back or fans. I'm doing it to take care of my wife and my babies.
Yeah.
That's it. And hopefully also inspire people that think they can do things in terms of business. So anyway, my Jacqui, that's who she is, and it's somebody I can trust. So she it's so much I can say about her, but it's too much. I'll
I,
leave it there.
I get that. I get that.
You know her.
I know.
The audience doesn't, but
Yeah,
she's awesome.
yeah, I get that. I get that. Why did you name, and I know Key's your last name, but why did you name it Key Legacy? Why? Why that name in particular?
Well, the cool thing about the name of this brokerage is that Jacqui and our children, we came up with it at dinner. And my middle child, Michaela, who she was like, "You have to put our last name in the bro." And I'm like, "I don't. That's so corny and cliche." She was like, "No, Dad, it makes sense." Key, and then she convinced me. So I was like, "All right, fine."
Yeah.
Um, and then, I'm big on legacy. And that's why we have the brokerage, because hopefully one day our children would take our brokerage to a whole nother level. So like it just makes sense. Key Legacy Realty.
Yeah.
Play on our name, is a play on our mission, which is to create legacy. And it's not just about our legacy, of course. When we help buyers and sellers, we're helping them create a legacy. We helped a lot of people, fortunately become rich in this business and do things for their family. So relocate,
Mm,
move their kids into a good school district. Um, so anyway, everyone's getting a legacy at Key Legacy Realty.
absolutely. Absolutely. That's life changing. A better school district. I mean, you're that's saving lives. Do you realize you're a lifesaver?
So
Because
I'm a
you,
hero.
oh, okay.
No, listen, if you want to give me an alley oop, I'm gonna slam dunk it.
Yeah, sure, whatever. But that is no, seriously, you save lives. Like I didn't even realize that at the way that you phrased it. Yes, you save lives.
Yeah, not to throw your business out there, but you're a product of someone that benefited from a good school district.
For sure, sure.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't know how much I can disclose on it, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. So
yeah,
yeah, your mom, who's awesome, who I love, who's I call her mom, as you know,
yeah.
she did her thing and got you into a good school district, and now you're a doctor with an amazing podcast. So to your point, lives do get changed when you make those moves and
Yeah,
get into the right school district for sure.
yeah. Why should people work with you and your wife?
Well, mainly because they get to work with my wife. Who cares about no, but because in all seriousness, my wife and I, we really truly care about our clients. And it's not a gimmick. Um, we love people. We love to see people win. We're not haters. Um, and it's just a good feeling to your point when you get that call and they're like, thank you and your wife. Now I'm doing this. I'm having a cookout in this house, or, the pool's clean and like whatever. It's just a good feeling when we see people win. Um, and we know what we're doing for sure. And that's something that I'm proud to say. Like I know this business at a high clip. So I mean that makes sense to me. Work with someone that wants to help you win and knows what the heck they're doing. Seems like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How can people reach out to you?
My phone number 215-778-9352.
Mhm,
If it's for anything rental related, because my wife, she heads the rental division in our brokerage,
mhm,
whether it be property management, leasing, etc. Her number is 267-934-5458.
mhm.
And once again, her name is Jacqui. And I'm on Instagram, and you can Google our brokerage too and see our reviews, which is awesome. So if you just type in Key Legacy Realty in Google, we should pop up. All 5-star reviews, knock on wood, it stays like that.
Yeah.
We have a Facebook page. Just look up Key Legacy Realty. And I'm on Instagram. I believe my Instagram name is, because I'm kind of a old head. What is it? The Key. What's my? Do you know it, sis?
Yeah, it's Key Legacy Realty.
Well, yeah, but I have a personal one too.
Oh,
And
it's
you don't know it. That's embarrassing. Come on, sis. Don't do me like that. You're supposed to know.
I know your business. Why do I have to know your personal? Your
The
personal
key.
is the Key Realtor 215.
There you go. Yep. The Key Realtor 215. Thank you. Yes, that's me. So
Amazing.
yeah, that's how you can find me.
Yeah.
I answer my phone. That's another benefit of working with my wife and me. We're very responsive. Um, it's funny because I reached out to a prospect today and I was
Mm,
like, "Do you want to tour this unit tomorrow that we're managing?" And she was like, "Tomorrow is the 4th of July." And I'm like, "Listen, ma'am, I work. There's no such thing as holidays and birthdays."
mm,
Which, real quick, that's another reason why I like working with Jacqui, my wife,
mhm.
because she understands.
Yeah.
So if I say I have to go somewhere on my birthday or this holiday, she's not like, "What?" Because she's in the same arena.
Yeah.
And Zelia, she's licensed. and
Yeah.
she has a degree in Zelia is my oldest daughter.
Yeah.
She has a degree in real estate from Villanova, and she's a licensed real estate agent. My middle child is in school to get her license,
Woo!
and yeah. So anyway, our whole family is in real estate. So I'm not depriving them of anything because they know this is what we do.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I'm not going to keep running my mouth. Thank you for having me. This was awesome.
Of course, of course. And
You,
you just made me think of something else though. Sorry, what were we gonna say?
no, what?
How do you balance all of your hats in being a husband, being a parent? How do you balance that?
Once again, since my entire family we're pretty much all in real estate,
Yeah.
it's kind of easy because I'll give you an example. If we're on vacation, we're gonna be on the beach
Mhm.
working, and the family's there, and like after we get off the phone, we're talking about the deal that just
Mhm.
So that's one way. We're always like real estate and family is kind of intertwined.
Mhm.
So it makes it easier to balance. And then sometimes when times call for it and we have to like shut down, since we own the brokerage and
Yeah.
we don't have a boss, it's just like, well, I'm not working today, so I have to like lock in.
Yeah.
For example, I have to take Michaela, who's my middle child, to Penn State next week, so I'm not going to be doing too much
Right.
working. I got to focus on getting my daughter acclimated to her first year of college. So
Mm,
yeah, that's how
that's
that thing
amazing.
gonna go.
That's amazing. And that speaks to being your own boss, ownership. That you just keep making me think of other things like that's amazing. You are the owner. You are the boss.
Well, everything has its pros and cons. But yeah, when it comes to that, create my own schedule.
Yeah.
That's probably the thing I like the most about it, to be honest. So if I gotta take my daughter to the dentist, or my baby Sophia, she wants to want me to come watch her sing at one of her little things.
Yeah.
I don't have to say, boss, can I get 2 hours to go watch my baby perform? So that's probably the best part for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
You
and and I guess that answers your question too, somewhat about how we balance, because I can like always carve out time
right.
when we need to.
Yeah.
You know, I can turn a business meeting with Jacqui to a breakfast date. I can
Right.
say, you know what, let's for half an hour, we're gonna just talk about our future and how much we love each other.
Yeah.
No, but so that helps the balance.
I love that. And then just real quick too, now you're making me think of other things too. You make it look very easy. You post, oh, the deal, and the da, 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 da. For those who are interested in real estate and being a broker, can you elaborate how it is hard work? You make it look easy and you do a great job, but people think it's glamorous all the time.
It's a good point.
Can you speak
Great
to
point.
that?
Yes, real estate, the industry is not as glamorous as it looks. Very difficult. My wife and I, we're 100% commission. So if the deal doesn't close, we don't eat. So that can cause anxiety if you're not mentally trained. So, I like to work on my mental health to stay mentally trained for these things. I go to the gym almost every day. I read, like I do stuff to train my mind.
Also,
I never drank, I never smoked.
yeah.
So I think that helps in a bit. My wife doesn't drink or smoke. So, it's just keeping our mind strong enough for the grind. Because to your point, it is tough and it's not glamorous and it's not as easy as it looks.
Mhm.
You know, if you can't solve puzzles, I don't like to use the word problems
Mhm.
because once again, I'm about positivity.
Right.
So we solve puzzles, and anyway, so you have to have that mental fortitude to do so
Yeah.
and keep your mind sharp. So you can't drink, can't smoke. You got to keep your fitness up and then, do what you're supposed to do. Stay curious, like we talked about earlier. Stay up on keep educating yourself. So when something gets thrown your way, you have an answer because you did your research.
Mhm.
So all those things make it manageable. Not easy, but easier.
Yeah. 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 I'm very proud of you. Very proud of you. You wear all these hats, Shira. husband, your father, your CEO, your co-owner, your broker, your realtor, all of that. Who do you say you are out of all those titles?
The most important title I have is a family man.
Wow.
That's the most important. I love my profession, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't define me. Uh, Closing a deal doesn't define me. How much money I accumulated and all that, I can care less about that, in all honesty.
Mhm,
My goal is to make enough money and accumulate enough things
mhm,
that when I pass away before my wife, because statistically that's how it goes.
mhm.
She takes the money and spends it on a pool boy. That's that's my goal, and my kids to make sure they have an easier life. Um, when that time comes. So anyway, I'm a family man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm most proud of. That's my title. Everything else is just, you know, it is what it is.
You all listen. I know you understand why now. Not because I said it, not because he said it, not because he's my brother. Why you need to work with Key Legacy Realty. I mean, he just laid it out there, and it's all honesty. He's not what the young people say capping. He's not telling it. He's not lying. This is real. This is raw. I appreciate
Uh,
you.
No, I appreciate you, sis.
Thank
This
you.
is cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
And keep doing your thing. You need your flowers too. You're
Oh, okay,
amazing.
calm down. Thank you. You all. I'm gonna end this podcast with Key Royalty, Key Legacy Royalty. All you need to listen, all you need to look for, Key Legacy Google.
Yep.
Bye, you
Key
guys.
Legacy Realty. Find me on Google. Thank you so much, sis. I appreciate you.
Bye, brother.
See you, sis.
Thank you for joining us on the Humanitarian Heartbeat podcast. Remember, each conversation brings us closer to a world where compassion thrives. Stay connected, stay informed, and let's keep the heartbeat of humanity alive. Subscribe, share, and be a part of our journey to make a difference, one conversation at a time. Until next time, keep your hearts open, your minds curious, be a blessing to others, and give agape love. God bless.